Hey YouTube, it's Fred here from Hillians Bricks and I hope you're all well. And in today's video is pretty much like an anniversary video, right? So it's our first year of doing Hillians Bricks, so our Bricklink store, and also kind of like YouTube and everything that's associated with it. So we thought we'll do a summary video of all the things we've achieved and kind of go back and share, how we started up, the journey we've been on so far, all the changes. I'll also share some of the numbers with what's happened within a year so far, and then I'm going to talk about some future plans and things. So I've kind of prepared a presentation, but before I want to go into all that, I just first of all want to thank every one of you who's been watching and supporting me on my YouTube channel. Without you guys, I wouldn't have, had the encouragement to keep going, and it's nice to see we're building a Lego community. And for me, this is a hobby, and I'm truly enjoying it. I do spend a lot of time on it because it's perhaps a misconception that Bricklink is an easy thing. No, you need to dedicate your time to it. What you will see as well is like the numbers. You got to be aware of that it's not, I'm not doing this for making money, because actually I've put in more money than I've taken out so far. Now I'm hoping in the future that will change, but that's the long-term game. So at the moment, for me, this is mainly a hobby. So right, let me just start the journey of 1 year of Hillians Bricks. So I've created a slideshow, and I'm just going to talk around some pictures and everything. So where we're going to start? We're going to start at the beginning, right? So we didn't have this setup as we are here now. So we are in what I call my Lego room / my office. This is where I work from home as well. This is where I'm recording the video right now. But we started actually in our living room. So we were operating out of pretty much cardboard boxes and poly bags, and every single poly bag had numbers on them. And that's how my storage started. So I pretty much started operating out my Lego out of the living room. Now that did drive my wife insane. So as you can see, this is just behind the sofa, because you'll see some more pictures in a second. And this is, when we just started, so that's not too much here. But then we started taking over another area against the wall. We started putting, here, because this is the sofa bit. As you can see, this is the wall. Got lots of these chess sets. And by the way, this is our dining room table here. So you see there's not that much room. And it kind of kept buying and buying more. Coming up to here, parting out the chess sets, it's taking over the dining room table. Then we got this unit here, which is now on my left hand side here in the room. Where I started like even putting boxes again with poly bags in there. I got sets I needed to part out, and then eventually this is pretty much towards the end what it was. So I had lots of boxes here on the floor stacked. I even had a box there on the table. I had to keep moving back and forth. This chair was full with boxes as well, mostly with like envelope boxes and things like that. And then I started buying these trays that I've got here now from what's it called, Hobbycraft. And pretty much now I've got the whole thing full here of those. So as you can see, this was really starting to take over the living room. This was around 80,000 to 100,000 bricks that we were operating out our living room. And I think my wife had enough at that point. So what we did, I've got a quick video as well I'm going to share, just so you can see this is probably not at the peak, but not far off. This was getting a bit out of control, taking over the table as well. I had to kind of dig into my archives on my phone on what footage I had and what pictures. So I didn't really take a lot of stuff at the time, because I didn't think I'd be making this video. So let me just go back to the next step. So what we're in here now is a room that became part of a garage conversion. Now I've got a whole playlist on my YouTube channel that's linked to the garage conversion. I think it's like 22 episodes. You can see from every single step that was taken. And the progress that was made to build this garage conversion. So this is like half a garage at the moment, and as you can see here in this picture, this is what it was before. The wall that you can see behind me, and the window is here. This door has now been replaced with a window. This wall here is now the door, and pretty much we built a wall here, which is the wall in front of me, is about halfway in the garage, and then we still have behind this wall, we have the garage still that we use to store bikes and stuff like that. But yeah, this is what it looked like before we did any work to it. It took around three weeks, I think, by one builder to completely get it all done. And this is kind of the finishing result right now. So this is how we are set up, more or less. So you can see the window here behind me. And then you see here are all the storage drawers that you don't always see them because the camera is pointing the other way, but that's how we are set up from our Bricklink store. And you can see those are the laptop that we tend to use for recording. And here is that shelf that I brought from the living room into the room here, and this is pretty useful. I do like these trays because there's 18 lots you can store in each one of them, so from a space perspective it's pretty good. And we also got a storage unit, so when we had to do this garage, we had to clear out the garage. So what we said, like, look, let's get a storage unit, put everything we have in the garage in the storage unit. Me being me, I rented quite a big storage unit, and I took the opportunity to start filling it with Lego. So this is the size of the so yeah, actually I'm talking in here, but that's how it looked empty. And I've got a picture that I took recently, and it's a bit of a mess at the moment. Come on, it is stacked to the brim with like boxes. Lots of these boxes on the top are empty boxes, but there's lots of full Lego boxes in there as well. I need to sort that out, and you will see later in the video I do have some plans with the storage unit. But now that's one thing we're also doing is at the moment we're doing my son's bedroom, and we're gradually taking stuff back out of the storage unit. So eventually I'm going to keep the storage unit as kind of like a Lego storage unit. Now, what else did we do in this first year of doing Bricklink pretty much, and selling Lego and the whole Lego adventure? So let's start with the beginning. So we're actually selling on multiple platforms. So we got Bricklink. We started with Brick Owl as well, not too long after we started Bricklink. Did eBay. We tried Facebook as well here and there, although that's not really the thing that we're focusing on right now. We also have our own website, Hillians Bricks, but that's not really too active. I would say we might have had the one sale or two sales through there. Most of the sales are on the first three platforms. We do have a love-hate relationship with eBay. I created a video earlier in the year, towards the end of last year, where I pretty much decided to stop selling on eBay. Now I've gone back to eBay and things are a lot better, purely because the way I used to sell was different. And now I've got a kind of like a shop, and it's much more manageable, I find. But still, I don't like the managed payments, and I don't like some of the fees, and the transparency is like some people get free listings, others not. So you're not having a free or a fair marketplace, and I still have that love-hate relationship with eBay. But once you will see the numbers is that the eBay sales are starting to pick up again from my perspective. So I'll show that in a minute. And what else have we got? So one thing we also done, we've got Ungated on Amazon, ready for Q4. So initially when I started, it was pretty much looking just, let's do Bricklink, let's just do parts and everything. But as I got more and more into Lego, start looking at other YouTubers about Lego investing and things like that, I started to buy the odd set here and there, and I started seeing, you can get better pricing on Amazon. Yes, the fees are higher than eBay, but it seems to be more reliable from a customer base as well. You're less likely to get ripped off. So I decided to try and get Ungated on Amazon. I've sold maybe one or two sets on Amazon, but the prices are pretty attractive that you can get on there. And I've started listing a bit more on there. But once I've got my storage unit sorted out completely, I will really start to, go in on Amazon and start listing a lot more on there. Because for now, it's not fair me on listing stuff on Amazon when I can't really access all the sets. So I've only listed the stuff that I know I've got to hand that I can quickly pass on so far. So I'm looking forward to Q4, because obviously on run up to Christmas I'm expecting things to start shifting. But yeah, so we're ready for that. We've also, as you know, we've got a YouTube channel. In this first year, pretty much, we've done over 200 videos, from like Lego hauls, our Friday Lego deals, which is proving quite popular. We've done 70 or more live streams. So I must say I've learned a lot. I'm not normally the kind of person that likes to broadcast or put myself on there. I did have a YouTube channel before, and I never showed my face. So this is kind of like been a big challenge for me. But yeah, I've enjoyed it, and it's actually something that encourages me to keep going as well, and I'm still learning, and I'm kind of building a nice community with fellow Lego fans. So we've done lots of Lego giveaways as well. We plan on continuing doing that. Here I said 10 plus because I kind of lost track. We do monthly giveaways anyway, And for those who've been following me, we've also started getting Amazon affiliate links, so we're starting to drive revenue through that. When people buy Lego deals through Amazon, we get a commission, and that commission is actually funneled straight into us buying more Lego sets to do giveaways. So it's kind of like people, the more they buy through us, the more we're actually giving away. So it's a nice way of giving back to everybody. We also set up a Discord channel. If you haven't joined yet, I highly recommend you joining that. It's completely free. There's a link into the description of most of our videos now. We've got over 130 people at the time of filming this. But yeah, it's every day we're getting more people, and it's predominantly to like let people know when their deal's on. And it's not just focused on the UK, there's also focused on the US, and we've got people from across the world on there. We've got people from Australia, Philippines, the US, Italy, you name it. It's growing nicely, and that's a nice thing to see. Lego is a worldwide thing that people are enthusiastic about, and people share their ideas, and we've got lots of little threads, and we're open to suggestions for improvement. But most importantly, whenever we see a deal, we highlight it, and also deals in the US, for example. So that's something that we're expanding on as well. And I've started, as I said earlier, I'm not just focusing on the parts anymore. I started looking into the long-term investing. That storage unit has over 300 sets there now, waiting to retire. Some of them are retired, but just waiting to hit some pricing that I can sell at. My background is finance. I work in a procurement, and I like detail. And one thing of detail is I like data analysis, number crunching. I love my spreadsheets. Some people even call them Fredsheets. And I like doing all the number crunching. And one thing I've done is doing a lot of data tracking, data analysis for the UK and the US, particularly if you're a Bricklink seller, it's useful. Finding out, I track all the part out values for all the sets that are active, and kind of seeing the trends that are happening. I've got a Patreon site, people can get that data. There's a monthly fee for that, but you can get access to that data in a PDF format that you can download, ready to hand. It's handy when you go into a store and you want to see, what's the target price for me to reach, my 3-to-1 ratio or 2.5-to-1 ratio. It tells you what it should be based on that month's part out value. So that's something I do on a monthly basis. I track over 500 sets every month. So when Lego announce new set launches, I need to make sure I add all of those on there. And it's been a few weeks now, actually a month and a half since we had the June launch. As lots of sets have recently launched. I need to make sure that I'm on top of that, and it's something that I do. And it's not just for the UK, it's for the US. Unfortunately, I can't do other places like Europe, for example, because it doesn't allow you to get the part out values in other currencies apart from the default is US dollars, and the one wherever you have your store set up, which for me is in the UK, which is in GBP. That's why I can only do these ones. Now if I had access to a Europe shop or something to get the part out values, then maybe I would be able to do that as well, but I don't at this time. So the one thing in the first year as well, I did a lot of learning, from part numbers, finding my way around Bricklink, the parts, finding out what new sets are coming out, seeing, the trends, as I said, from the data that I've done. It's a continuous learning thing from Lego, and I do enjoy it. It's also about the history of the stuff that, the sets that I've kind of missed out on, because I used to be a big Lego fan as a child. Then obviously I went through, my teenage years. I was still a fan of Lego, but then, you start going out, you go to university, and you kind of lose focus on Lego, and you start prioritizing on other things. Now, I tell you, as I got older and now with the family again, I got fully dedicated going back to Lego. I've always had the love for Lego. But there's like that time gap of things where I wasn't really on top, and that kind of missed probably like 15 years of like Lego. Now I kept an eye on what was being launched because we've got a Lego store not too far from me, but I wasn't really buying it. I wasn't paying attention to how it was appreciating and things like that. So there's continuous learning, and new sets come out all the time as well. And most importantly, I've had a lot of fun. A lot of fun doing these videos. Again, also we come back to the learning. It's not just learning about Lego. I've learned a lot about how to create videos, lighting, and some of the software I've had to use. That's the kind of thing I enjoy as well. So yeah, it's been lots of fun, and I'm kind of like meeting lots of more and more people, with the same mindset, the same hobby, and I think that's for me one thing that keeps me going. So I think this is what a lot of you guys will want to see. Let me just have a drink first. So I'm gonna go through it by month in terms of how we done it, and going to give you some revenue numbers, how many sales we've done per kind of like platform, how many parts we had and how many how many lots we've had, pretty much just to give you an overview. You can see the progress of the sales and the size of the store as well as we started. Oh, I needed that. So this is how it's going to work. So the bold numbers are the sums of the numbers underneath. We also track how many pieces we sell, and the pieces sell also include like minifigures. So if we sell one minifigure, that's one. If we sell one part, if we list sometimes as a part of a minifigure, that would be as a one. So it's kind of like based on the inventory pieces that we track. So let's start with June last year. We only started towards the end of June, but we got £85 of revenue, 34 orders, which is quite a high number, right? And we only did Bricklink. It's worth noting that we don't have any minimums, so we got no thresholds, no anything. People can just place an order for one piece and we'll ship it. We believe that people sometimes just want one piece that's missing or they've lost, and we want to provide that service. If I happen to have it, I will send it. And yeah. And we had around just under 16,000 pieces. You can see mostly new. I had a batch of used Lego sets that was in the garage that my wife wanted me to get rid of, and that's kind of why I started doing this as well. But then I started buying new sets and started parting them out. So we already had 2,200 lots, and again, as you can see, it's 50-50 in terms of used versus new. Now, come the next month, we obviously saw a full month and saw an increase in sales to it's over £600. 127 orders. Still Bricklink was in the lead. Then we had Brick Owl started, an already substantial amount of orders. Excuse me. And others is, I would say, predominantly will be eBay. It might be the odd thing on Facebook I sold, but it would be predominantly eBay at this stage. But you see, we sold 3,300 pieces. The inventory was clearly what we started with for the end of last month, but we grew it to just under 29,000 pieces. As you can see, everything we grew was with new sets, and the lot count also increased by about 800 to just over 3,000 lots. You can see we sold quite a bit of the used parts, but we added a fair. So here you can see the tracking of the changes as well. Then come August, sales increased again. The order numbers was practically the same. But interestingly, you can see Brick Owl sold more than on Bricklink, and we're seeing that trend. It's about 50-50. The order trend is split between the two. We started selling a bit more on eBay, especially minifigures was a thing we sold on eBay. And again, we grew our inventory significantly to now over 55,000 pieces. And again, we added 500 lots in total. So again, we didn't really add any used. It's all been focused on new on this in this store. It takes so much more time to add used than new, and that's why we've kind of been focusing on new. But occasionally we add used when we have some time. Now going to September, it was kind of took a step back, and it was just £750 revenue. And these numbers include also postage costs and everything, by the way. So these are the total things. So it's not just the parts counts; it's everything. So yeah, you got to keep that in consideration. You got to pay postage, PayPal fees, all that on top of that, right? So I want to also tell you that every month I've spent way more money on Lego than I've generated. So there's not been one single month that the revenue has covered the amount of money I spent on Lego. Now I do have lots of stock of Lego, but if you keep that in mind, I've been paying a lot of it out of my own pocket. But yeah, September, it kind of took a step back. We only sold 3,700 pieces, which was quite a reduction versus August. But again, we grew our inventory by around 11,000 pieces. You see, we added a bit of used again. But again, we added the lot count to over 4,000. So gradually, we'll see throughout this journey, we've been focusing on adding lot counts because you're more likely to get a sale if you have more lots. Then October, same orders, but you can see Brick Owl has been outperforming Bricklink, right? And we started seeing the eBay was kind of like flattening out. But eBay, we were only selling minifigures, and maybe we weren't parting out many minifigures at the time. But October was a big push in terms of part count. You know, we're just under the 100,000 limit. We're 96,000. I think that's where I added lots of the chess sets, which was, I had like 10 of those at like 1,200 pieces, I believe. So it was like 12,000 pieces, just one part out. So that really made a big difference. And you can see lot count again went up by around 330, and gradually we're seeing that increase. And this is all the time we were still in the living room. So if you think back at the beginning of the video here where I showed the pictures, this was all still happening in my living room. And you know, everything was in the bags. So every poly bag had a number on it, but there was not just one part, and it was sometimes, you know, 5, 6, 10 different parts in there. And whenever I had to pick an order, it would always be at the bottom. So picking orders was very painful. It took forever, and that's why this room is now a blessing. Makes it so much quicker to do the orders. Now November was encouraging. As you can see, we finally broke the £1,000 mark. We also hit a new record of 141 orders. Again, Brick Owl setting the trend with 62 orders and 7,000 pieces. And we broke the 100,000 mark. So we got 111,000 pieces by the end of November in our store. And only 80 lots added, but if you consider the amount of sales we had, to still increase was quite an encouraging month. And that continued into December, again, where we just beat the number. Excuse me, there's something flying around here. But we sold 10,000 pieces. So we track every single piece that we sell. So every order we write the number of pieces that we sell, just to keep that in mind, because we also track our average cost per piece. So you know, for cost of goods calculation, it's easy to do that way. And then we got the inventory again increased to 117,000, so another 6,000 lots, and only a small increase of 70 lots again in December. Now then January came, and I thought, okay, new year, you know, everybody's had Christmas bills. We're going to see a reduction in sales, but completely the opposite happened, and I think that's got a lot to do with lockdown. Pretty much happened then, and January 2021 was our record month. When we hit £2,300 of sales, 200 orders. You can see Bricklink predominantly went out there and got nearly 90 orders. Also, the other sites did quite well. And it's the first month that our inventory went down because we sold 16,000 pieces and we weren't able to add enough to cover that. And again, but one thing we did add though was more lots. So as you can see, we added some used pieces by the looks of it, because that went up versus last month. So we must have been parting out some used, which takes longer to sort out than new, and therefore probably that's why our overall inventory change was negative. And then February came, short month, but still very encouraging in sales, right? £2,000, 2,100, 12,000 pieces sold, and again the inventory was down. But we still managed to increase the lot count just slightly. But again, it was, a very good month. And since then, everything has pretty much gone downhill, as you will see, quite rapidly. And by the way, January was when we started getting this room done. So that's why also I didn't start adding lots of, when it came to January, February, I didn't add a lot of pieces because I knew this room was being done. So it wasn't fair for me to add lots of new inventory, which would then have to move over anyway. And then in February, clearly I was doing lots of the moving in here, so that's why I didn't really focus on adding too much stock. It was just getting this room fully set up. So that's kind of what happened at this time as well. We were in the midst of this transition. So then March came, and it was a step backwards to 1,500. Still a good month. But that's when we got fed up with eBay. As you can see, no other sales. What happened was that eBay gave you lots of listings for free, and I was listing lots of my minifigures. And then suddenly, and they were all on auto renew, every 30 days auto renew, and suddenly eBay decided, oh, you're no longer going to get free listings, and I didn't even look into that. And suddenly every single listing started getting hit with like a 35 pence charge. So, and if you think about, you got quite a lot of minifigures, suddenly I start having to pay, £60 a month for listings for things that weren't selling. I was like, what's happening here? And these 30 pence on parts that were selling for like £3 to £4 was a huge thing percentage wise. And then they started talking to me about managed payments. I was like, oh my goodness, I've had enough of eBay. I'm just gonna move away. And that's kind of like why I stopped selling in March on eBay. So, but I focus more again on adding parts. You can see positive step change. The room was fully set up now, so I could concentrate on increasing my store to the max capacity pretty much. So we hit the 5,000 lots, and we got 135,000 pieces in inventory by the end of March. Then April came and sales continued to slow down. This is also when the lockdown started to end. Stores were reopening. Most importantly, the Lego stores are reopening, so people have access to pick-a-brick walls and things like that. We can see the pieces went down to 6,800. 92 orders, nothing on eBay still. So we managed to grow the inventory again to nearly 150,000. Lot count again increased because we added a bit more used sets as well. But again, still new stuff. So we're at nearly 5,500 lots at the end of April. And then came May, which was not a great month again, because it kind of went again the continuous trend of going down. We did sell more pieces, and we started towards the end of May giving eBay another shot. But this time we decided to set up an eBay store, which basically allows you to use 250 listings for like a £30 flat fee. So if you use up those listings, it works out a lot more economically than doing the individual listings and having to pay all the time. And that's why I decided to give it another chance, and so far so good. You also have like a shop page, and I think it makes it look a lot nicer. So that's when we started in May. After like 2.5 months of exodus of eBay, we kind of gave it another shot. But overall, the orders are still down to 79. Again, we increased our inventory, but this time the lot count didn't go up because we started selling some of the used stuff. But we're at over 150,000 pieces now in the inventory. And then last month in June, so pretty much a full year, I would say, because June 2020 we started towards the end of it. Again, this trend is pretty much going in the wrong direction, and as I'm filming this in July, I don't see any improvement yet. But again, it's the nice weather. I'm hoping that this trend will reverse. And you can see it's not because my store has gotten smaller that sales have gone down, right? My store is big in size. It has been increasing in size, but sales have gone down. I've not changed any pricing. I think a lot of people got in a pandemic. Lots of new people got involved in Bricklink, are only in it for the short term, and stores have been starting to shut down, I think, and people are starting to get rid of Lego pieces and really lowering their prices to ridiculous level just to clear the stock. So that's what I think is the driving factor for this decrease in sales. But I do think that it's temporary, and over the long term it should pick up again. But yeah, we only sold 3,300 pieces in June, which was, if you look at it, that's back to the same number we had in July last year, right? But we had a big push in adding more parts, so we're like, look, we're not going to give up. We continue to add more parts. We've added even some used parts as well, lots of new stuff. And this time again, we increased our lot count to 5,600. So I think at the time of filming, I'm around 5,700, and again around that 170,000 mark of piece count. And at the moment, I would say this is getting close to capacity. I don't really have any more space for trays. Like, they're pretty much all fully used. I can start adding more on the used stuff, but it takes a lot longer to do that. But yeah, those are the financials for 1 year. So let us know what you think. Are you, as Bricklink sellers, seeing similar trends or not? But as I said, I definitely spent a lot more money into it than I've taken out of it. Now let's talk about some future plans, some wild ideas and dreams that I've got. And the first thing I just want to highlight is that I talked about it already. The first thing I want to do as soon as we've got my son's bedroom sorted is sort out that storage unit. It needs proper racking. I need to have access to all the sets that are in there, and then really start driving Amazon, which is clearly what I want to do in time for Q4. It's something that's on my radar for next month. Need to buy the racking, set it all up, but first I need to clear everything that's in there that's not Lego, and then we can focus on that. I also want to continue my development of my analytics, so I'm continuing doing the UK and the US, but I'm looking, of new ways of tracking things as well. I continuously like data. I'm always going to be focused on it because I think it helps you make the wiser decisions over the long term. I'm doing things by theming, so I think over time, as I'm starting to get more familiar with Lego investing and seeing certain trends, I think that's something that's going to now allow me to continue development of these sort of analytics and make it available to my Patreon followers. Then one thing I'm also thinking about is maybe some collaboration with other established Lego YouTubers. I'm occasionally in touch with Shane from BrickBucks. Speak to him on Facebook, and some sharing of ideas and Lego investing. And those are the guys who kind of like made me think about Lego investing. The one thing I've learned, for example, is that the US market is very different from the UK market, and that's one thing that I keep telling. Make sure when you watch people from YouTube, make sure that you do your own research in your local market as well, because it's all good and well when things work out in America. It's the biggest online marketplace in the world, but maybe wherever you're based is a completely different marketplace and you're not seeing the same sort of return. So do bear that in mind. But yeah, I'm looking to potentially in the future do some collaboration with other well-established Lego YouTubers. But before I do that, I want to make sure I build up my reputation, my credibility as well, and grow my platform. So one thing I want to do is start doing more live build videos. I've not really been able to do much of that, and again, this is more of an aspiration because I don't really have space at the moment to put it anywhere. But I've been thinking maybe I need to start building some of these sets and then part them out again and sell them as used Lego. So that's something that I might do. I haven't 100% thought about it. It's something that came up in my mind the last few days, but maybe that's a good way of adding more content and at the same time adding more used parts to my inventory. If I do that, I will likely not put any stickers or do any of the minifigures, so then I can sell those as new. But apart from that, I can build anything and then sell those parts as used. I'm going to continue doing giveaway competitions. I have noticed that that's one of the more popular things on my channel. Whenever I do the prize draws, I can see that the people count does go up. There's more engagement as well. People like giveaways, and as I said, we do these, as long as our Royal Mail service delivers, we will ship it there. Now with Brexit, things have become a bit more complicated. That's why we're not going to be giving away the massive sets, but my view is to maybe give away sets more often. And as people are spending more money using our affiliate links on Amazon, this is allowing us to do these things more frequently. So in one of the recent Friday Lego deal videos, I shared, how this is going to work, and this is, how we can continue to do that. So by all means, follow us on Discord and keep track on those deals. I'm going to continue to build the YouTube channel, continue to post videos and Lego content, and also build the Lego community on our Discord channel. Whenever I'm not on my YouTube videos, people can usually connect with me on Discord, and that's kind of like the way for me, to share my ideas, but also for other people to share their ideas. People can upload some of their YouTube videos or share some other content that I might not be aware of. So it's a good platform for everybody to learn as well, and spot other deals, because I'm not going to spot every single deal out there, and it's a nice way of us all making sure that we snap up some great deals, because we have snapped up some great deals. Just to give you some examples of the top of my head, a lot of us got the Ecto 1 for less than £80. We got the Millennium Falcon UCS for, I think it was £468 plus cashback. So, and those are the deals that you have to be on, because as soon as they're announced, they're going to be gone within minutes, right? So as soon as we know about it, we snap them up, and it's kind of like the community make sure that everybody benefits from it as well. And then one of my dreams, it's probably not going to happen in this house because we don't have the space, but I'd like to build a Lego city. As a child, I had a Lego city with trains and everything. I've often told the story, but when I moved to university, my parents decided to sell the house with all its contents, including my Lego city and monorails and everything. I was not the happiest, even as a teenager. I still enjoyed my Lego city back then. But yeah, it's my dream and aspiration, especially as a fan of modular buildings. I want to build a Lego city with the modular buildings, and start doing more mock designs, and kind of be more adventurous with the size and scaling. And there's lots of more inspiration out there from other YouTubers that you can see, get some ideas, and develop your own Lego city. So that's definitely something that is one of my dreams to happen in the future. And if I do that, I will clearly make it on YouTube so people can follow the progress that we do and do it from scratch. I want to visit the Lego house in Billund. Clearly, travel is not really high on, well, it's probably high on people's agendas, but it's not high on the politicians' agendas to let us go. So I think as soon as restrictions allow it and bank balances allow it, it's on my bucket list to go visit Lego in Denmark, and including the Lego house, also the original Legoland. Although I must say, we are pretty fortunate here that we only just live over an hour away from Legoland Windsor, which I've been told is the biggest Legoland in the world. So yeah, it's not going to be for the attraction that would necessarily go there, be more from the nostalgia of being like in the birthplace of Lego. So yeah, that's definitely on my list to do. And most importantly is continue to have fun, right? People always told me, if you want to do something successfully and you want to continue doing something successfully, you got to do something that you're passionate about and that you enjoy doing. And for me, Lego is definitely hits that topic, right? I love Lego. I love seeing the new content. I love the creativity you can have with Lego, and it's fun. It's not stressful at all, and that's why I think this is why after a year I have full ambition to keep going. It's not something that I'm bored of this now, let's move on to another thing. So no, I fully intend to continue doing Lego content. So yeah, that was it pretty much from my 1 year of Bricklink. Well, 1 year of Hillians Bricks, right? So don't forget actually to like this video. We do appreciate that support. But I'm just wondering, does anybody know what this channel was actually called when we started? Because it wasn't called Hillians Bricks in the beginning. It was something less catchy. I thought it was another Lego brick in the wall. That was the name. And that was because we had the channel set up before we set up the Bricklink store. And it was purely at the beginning, I was only posting a bit of train video contents and some random bits and bobs. But then once I set up the Bricklink store, I decided it would be a good opportunity to build the Lego community on the back of that. And for those people who wonder, why is it called Hillians Bricks? Now, I live in a place called Burgess Hill in the UK, and the local soccer football team are called the Hillians. Now, I have never gone to see them, but I thought Hillians Bricks sounds quite good, so that's where Hillians Bricks came from. So I just wanted to throw that in before I finish off this video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this content. It's the first time we've kind of disclosed any of this sort of information. We might do that in the future on our Patreon site. But yeah, thanks for watching, for all your support, and here's to the next year of Hillians Bricks. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching.